And then one last thing to take a look at is we're going to actually make our own cumulative frequency graph for the following distribution, and then we're going to determine the inner quartile range of that. Okay, so our cumulative frequency graph. So you know what, we really probably should include that on our goals. Okay, so be able to create a cumulative frequency graph. Okay, so that's our second thing that we really want to be able to do. And so again, we've got draw a cumulative frequency graph for the following distribution and then determine the inner quartile range. Okay, so again, this is copied off of page 144. So really what we want to do is we want to know how many total frequencies there are here. So we want to add all these up to see what we've got.
Andrew, to the office, please. Andrew.
Alright, so let's add our 3 and 11, 25, 36, 31, and 14. And we get 110, except for, look, I put 3 plus 1 instead of 3 plus 11, so let's add 10 more to actually, it should be 120. Alright, so all of these add up to 120. But what we really want to do here with this cumulative frequency graph, we want to know what these totals are as we add them up. So we've got the frequency here, and what we really want to know is we want to know the cumulative frequency. So the total as we're going. So the cumulative frequency here is the first one. You only have 3. So the cumulative frequency for this next one is 3 and 11, which is 14. And then this next one, we would take what we just already have as our 14 plus 25, which gives us, what, 39. And 39 plus the next one, which is 36, gives us, what, 75. 75 plus 31 gives us 106, and then 106 plus 14 gives us 120. And that's kind of a nice little double check that we did our math right here, because these numbers match. Okay, so cumulative frequencies. So the biggest number we have here is 60. We want to put our scores down here on the bottom. So let's do this, scores. And we want to be able to go up at least to 60. We have 20 across here. So really, to kind of try to figure out what we want to do with that, let's do this. Let's take 60 and we divide it by 20, and we get 3. So each group here should get, let's see, for each 10, and this goes by 10s here, we should go up 3 each time. So this here is going to be 10, or basically up to 10 here. It's really at 9.99, but we'll call this here 10. And then 1, 2, 3 more. This will give us 20. You want to try to use it. You have to use at least half of the graph that you're provided, especially when you get to the IB tests and stuff like that. That's part of the thing. You have to use at least half the graph they give you. So the more of the graph that you can use, the better off you're going to be. So 20, 1, 2, 3. This could be 30, because you really could do, like, say every 2 would be 10, and then 20, 30, but you just wouldn't use as much graph, so I'm going to go by every 3. 40, 1, 2, 3 more is 50, 1, 2, 3 more is 60. Alright? So, Now with that, we want to, this here has to go up to at least 120, right? And again, we've got 20 of those. So really we should probably just go by tens, right? So 10, 20, 30, 40, let's call this 50. And then this is 100. And then let's see, this is 150. We won't need that because we really only need to go up to 120. Okay, so this here is our, let's see if I can write sideways here, our cumulative frequency. That's supposed to be an M. Close enough. Alright, so now all we do here is at 10, we're up at 3. Okay, so here's our 10, and that only goes up to 3, so that's going to be a point that's going to be, let's use a different color. Let's do orange here for our graph. So we're at 0 to begin with, and then at 10 we're up to 3, and then now when we get up to 20 we're up to 14. So 20 we're now up to 14. So there's another little point right there. At 30, because 29.99, that's 30, we're up to 39. So that's basically just under 40, right? At 40, we're up to 75. So that's about right there. 50, we're at 106. So that's that one there. And then at 60, we're at 120. So there's 100 and, oops, wrong spot. There we go. There's our 120. Okay. So we're drawing a cumulative frequency graph and then determine the interquartile range. So here's our, to draw our graph, we really need to connect our dots. Alright, so there's our cumulative frequency graph. And if we just want the interquartile range, we just want to find, we've got 120 pieces of data, right? So what we need to do is we need to find the 75th and the 25th. So let's do this. Let's take our 120 total pieces of data and break it into 4 equal pieces, right? So every 30 on our cumulative frequency graph should be 25% of our data. Alright, so with that, 10, 20, 30, that makes this nice and easy. So what we want to do over here, do on that is go over here at 30. And it looks like we hit right about there, which gets us down to, well, it's kind of hard to tell. It looks like about 17-ish or so. But let's double check here.
Okay, so sorry, that is not, obviously that's not 16, that's 26, right around 26 or so. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do our lower quartile is about 26. The upper quartile is going to be 30 down from 120. Right, so we take 120 minus 30, and that we're looking for the 90th score. Alright, so our 90th score is right here. So heading over, we're about, looks like we're about right there. Ooh, gosh, that is so, gee, that looks like about 45 or so. So the upper quartile is about 45, and again, this is just fairly rough. We're just gonna have to go with it. So then we take the upper quartile
minus the lower quartile gives us our interquartile range, right? So in this case we do 45 minus 26. This gives us 19. So the interquartile range is about 19. Alright, and that's all there is for this. So we've gone over all these things here. You should be able to understand the range, upper quartile and lower quartile, and the interquartile range. Understand what all those are, and then how to find all of them. We've done that. And then we also added in our be able to create a cumulative frequency graph, and that's what we just did here. And then also from that cumulative frequency graph, we figured out what the interquartile range is. All right, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thanks.